Marriage rates are going down. The happiness of men is rising. The thing is, we don't have marriages anymore. Since the government became involved, they are civil unions, not marriages. A marriage is a religious institution that has nothing to do with the government. What we need is for the government to not be involved in marriages at all. Let people choose if they want a marriage where you're married in your church by your pastor, and the government stays completely out of it, or a civil union where you go get married at a courthouse by a justice of the peace. Eliminate state marriage certificates and call them what they truly are, a civil union certificate. Today, feminism has enabled women to feel so entitled, they believe they are able to display their true personalities without any consequences. Thanks, feminism. You've done men the greatest favor possible. I don't think anyone should feel obligated to marry or have kids. If it's not for you, don't do it. It's a lot of work. For some people, that is what they want. That being said, divorce laws need to be reformed and prenups need to be more common. It's in both men's and women's best interest to do a prenup while the couple is still on good terms and just makes more sense. But women tend to get emotional about it by thinking it's because the man doesn't trust the woman. It also makes me sick when the children get put in the middle of all of that. Don't punish the kids by not letting them see your ex just because you're mad at the ex. Women will literally destroy their own relationships because they are bored, because of emotions at that moment, or because someone gave attention because her husband or boyfriend is working too much and money not being enough. Women that want to have children should go to an egg bank or adopt. Women should also network with other women to help raise the children in a collective. Men nowadays don't want to risk getting a woman pregnant and end up paying child support for decades. Men will seek pros or abstain from physical relations to avoid having an unwanted child to support and raise. As marriage rates drop 60%, the male quality of life has gone up by 60%. Women generally marry the safe bet in their eyes, like option 2 or 3. They marry the nice guy, so to speak. Marriage as an instrument isn't the issue. The issue is the laws around that contract, as everyone knows. Technically, it's a lot of work, and many times a lot of people are not compatible with one another. Not only financially is marriage a disaster waiting to happen for men, the toll on your mental health is and should be a major concern. Personally, I just felt so exhausted mentally more than physically during my marriage, and the thoughts of deleting myself were numerous. Now I'm feeling so much better and those thoughts don't exist anymore. I just feel so much better about my life now. No depression, aggravation, or frustration dealing with a lunatic. And she started off, well, it just goes to show they will change and not for the best. What sane man wants 100% risk and 0% rewards that come with the marriage contract where the wife is incentivized to divorce for money and assets? Marriage, and for that matter, dating, are losing propositions for men, and men in ever-increasing numbers are walking away from both. The practice of courting, having a relationship, and marrying does not make any sense anymore. It is a practice that we inherited and need to abolish to supplant it with a better model that reflects present reality. Marital intimacy is especially unsatisfying, since who wants to sleep with a woman you just got finished arguing with or has to run off to a business meeting when you are done? No, fellas, don't get married for bedtime intimacy. She'll disappoint you in more ways than you can imagine, and that's because marriage to her is a business, generally speaking. She doesn't really love you. Chances are she's got the hots for that Chad or Tyrone she works with at the office, not you. Save yourself a lot of money and frustration. Consider going your own way. There may be a few exceptions to the above scenario. A limited number of genuine women still exist. Women use this as a bashing point against men, but this is in fact a bad thing. It means less time is spent in growing and developing areas of the brain. Primates, dolphins, and elephants are known to have the largest and most complex brains in the animal kingdom, and this is largely due to how long it takes for them to reach full developmental maturity in their brains. Study suggests that humans' hungry brains divert energy from our bodies, slowing growth and leading to a long childhood and adolescence. Humans are late bloomers when compared with other primates. They spend almost twice as long in childhood and adolescence as chimps, gibbons, or macaques do. Taking longer to mature means the brain is going to be larger and contain more complexity, which is no coincidence since humans have the largest and smartest brains in the animal kingdom, while taking the longest to mature. Men have larger and more developed regions in the brain dedicated to logic, math, and visuospatial processing than women. It's a scientific fact that prefrontal cortex development plateaus later in males than females, although males have consistently greater volume and thickness. This makes sense since men have larger brains. Men needed bigger brains because we are the problem solvers of our race. We are the ones having to predict the weather, gather and hunt for resources, and calculate risk versus reward, all historically, of course. But it still seems to largely be the case, that is, men still dominate STEM fields. So it doesn't make sense for women to use this argument against men that men tend to mature slower than women. This is how woman logic works. Instead of dating with intentions and communicating your needs like an adult, just spread your emotions thin with multiple dudes to protect your fragile narcissistic ego when they pump and dump you. Men, if you are serious about finding a mate, then you dump any girl with a roster because, more likely than not, she is sleeping around, and for men and women alike, it becomes their dominant habit that is hard to break in most cases, even for love. All of these recent videos and culture in general have shown that in the last 50 years, adolescence has been extended to almost 30. The further you go back in the past, the more responsible youth had to be at an early age. The only ones that see this as bad are the childish, validation-seeking, self-absorbed people. Affluence in our society has created coddled and self-serving attitudes, so it's only natural to see this progression. The entitlement of modern women is mind-numbing. If the men you are dating are just looking for a good time, then either stop providing the good time or start dating different men. Hypergamy leaves women alone and living with cats or with a litter of fatherless kids. Stop being hypergamous and finding a good man for a relationship will become easy. The complete irony, fallacy, and delusion of women having this perspective, 1824. They have the most options and would have a multitude of men that they could marry and start a family with. If they have been raised poorly, lack ethics, and developed a poor moral compass, alongside poor decision-making, it will lead to them becoming the crazy cat lady or solo mother further down the road. That dating coach says that young men without experience don't really know what they want, so avoid them. Because young women figure out everything, unlike men. If all women only date experienced men, that means there will be even more inexperienced and undateable men. This is what women are thinking. I only want to date experienced men, but I don't want to give the opportunity to men to become experienced. Other women must be the ones to give experience to the men I will date, but not the other way around because I am that egotistical. It's like a company only wanting to hire experienced workers, and then complaining only inexperienced workers are available for hire. People with experience always get more experience, while people without experience get stuck unemployed or single. By the way, it's so hard for men to get opportunities, they don't want to drop them unless it's necessary. For women, it's easy to focus on only one man, say he is not good enough, and have dates with 10 other men for the rest of the month. If men don't get an immediate response, they will still accept a date even if they are not her first choice. But women won't accept a man ignoring her for weeks because he thought he could get better. Women have so many opportunities on dating apps. They can afford to focus on one at a time without depleting all their options. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.